Color Computer 3, coding again, sprites, basic movement of them, and transparency, lesson 16. Okay, some basic stuff before we do anything here. Let's talk about what we've got. Here we're going to do sprites, okay, and here's just one byte. Right, we have 2 colors, 4 colors, and 16 is our options. Okay, so if it's 2 colors, you get 8 pixels per byte. Okay, shown here. There's 8 pixels. You got a 0 and a 1, a 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. That's not on or off. Okay, that's just what it's used for. This 0 represents what's in palette register 0, which in this case down here is black. These are the colors of the palette registers, which is at hex FFB0. Okay, so what's ever in register 0 will display on the screen. What's ever in register 1 will show on the screen. In this case here, it's blue. So we'd have black, blue, black, blue, black, blue, black, blue. If you wanted different colors, you've got to change the register. It's nothing to do with that. You'd have to, say you wanted white, you'd have to put the value, which white is used, into FFB1. And that just so happens white is displayed as hex 3F or 63. We'd have to put it in there, and then you would have black, white, black, white. So these are equivalent to palette register numbers. 4 color, same thing, except we got 4 pixels per byte. We've got 1 pixel, 2 pixels, 3 pixels, 4 pixels. You can have it 0 through 3. Okay, and I got them all spread out. I got 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 0. I'm sorry, 0, 2, and 1, 1. So in this example here, these are palette register numbers. So we'd have first pixel would be black, the second pixel would be blue, third pixel would be gray, and the fourth one would be green. Okay, so 16 color. You have 15, 0 to 15. As again, we have 2 pixels. And here we got palette register 0, which would be black. This would be 15, be this yellow in the second row. So we'd have a yellow and a black pixel. It's the basic stuff you need to know about what you're doing with these pixels. There's some example stuff. Okay, and I'm using just this here stuff over here. It makes it easier to see what if we don't have all the cayennes and wobs and all the other colors. We're just using these 16 palette registers down here. 2 colors. Okay, everything, you should have a background or a base color or transparency color, whichever you want to call it. Okay, in this case we're using black. So here on this here 2 colored one, all 8 pixels are black. So if we turn a pixel on, we want to OR it on, we would put this one here, and we would OR that byte, and we'd end up with black, 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 1, which in this case is our blue down here, black, black, black. Okay, if we turn on some more pixels, this first one, this last one, we end up with blue, black, 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 blue, black, black, blues, which is what we wanted. If we want to turn a pixel off, we put all ones there except for the one we want to turn off, and then we AND that, this one and this one are a 1, so it becomes a 1. This one, these are different, so state goes to 0, these are different to 0, difference to 0, difference to 0, etc., etc. These are the same. So we end up with a blue, a bunch of blacks, and a blue. So much works for 2 color. Let's try 4 color now. Again, our background color is all 0, so all 4 pixels would be black. I want to turn one on, we'll turn that third one on. We'll put a 3 in there, or 1, 1, hex 1 is a 3. Okay, so we would end up with black, black, 3. Okay, let's see, since it's 0, 1, 2, 3, we have a green pixel turned on in this case here. Now if we want to turn on a couple more, we turn on, put 0, 1 in here, leave that alone, and put a 2 in there. So we end up with this pixel here would be palette 1, which would be blue, black, green, and gray. Okay, you see that this 0, 1, 2 is gray. Okay, let it turn one of them off. We want to turn that green one off. We put all ones in there except for there, and we go through the motions of they're different. They're both 1, so it becomes 1. They're different, 0, different zeros, etc., etc. So we get down here to the end. So we end up with a 0, 1, and a 2. So we end up with blue, black, black, gray. Okay, so much for not necessarily we want to do this. Okay, there's some problems with this. It's just showing how you can turn the pixels on and off. Move over to 16 color. Again, 2 pixels, black and black. We turn on 15. We end up with this. We have 0 for black and this dotted yellow one here for the other pixels. So we have a black, yellow. Turn on another one. We'll put a 6 in here. So we end up with 6F. So 6 would be this white pixel, and the F would be this yellow pixel. Okay. Now, if we want to turn it off, we would turn off that. We want to turn off the yellow one. Do this F0. We end up with 6, 0. So 6 would be our white, and the other one would be black. Again, it works. That's not what we want to do. There's problems with that. We'll solve next slide. Okay, we're going to do it here with 16 color. It's the same problem, same solution with 4 color. All right, we have 16 color scheme here. I split the 2 pixels in half. It's easier to show what we're talking about. And on the screen, we'd have in the 2 pixels, both of them white, okay, which is 6 and 6, okay, which would be this pixel here, so, or this color register here. So we'd have white and white. And then our sprite coming in, we have blue and blue. We want to switch them over to blue colors because that's what the sprite is. So we OR on the blue, which is the second blue one in this case here, which is the 9, so down here 9. So we OR on them two, and we end up with FF or 15, which is this yellow. Not quite what you wanted. We had white, white, we want to go to blue, blue, we end up with yellow, yellow. You cannot OR these things together. You're just be trying to add colors together. That does not work. Oops, wrong screen. Okay, 16 colors again, same thing. White, white, we want to put them on. In this case here, we're going to use blue and the black, which happens to be our background color or our transparency color. So let's go through this. Here's the rule to do this. Compare what's on the screen with the new one. If they are different, use the new one coming in. So here we had white, we got blue coming in, so they're different, so we'll use blue. Go to the lower half of this, or the second pixel, compare them. If they're different, over here we said if they're different, use the one coming in. There's an exception to the rule. If they're different and the one coming in, the new one, matches our background transparency, use the old one. Okay, we'll keep what's on the screen, we'll keep it there because it's transparent to be able to see through. So again, if they're different, use the new one, except when the new one is equal to the transparency color. And we end up with blue and white, which is what we wanted to. The new blue come in and the old white is on the screen. That's what we're going to do. So that's the rule. Here's what we're going to be doing today in this exercise. And what this is some old testing stuff I did a long time ago. I've been going through some of this hundreds of tests and variations of stuff I did, and I thought this might be a good one to clean it up and present it as a lesson here. Okay, here's what we're doing. We're going to take the first thing we're going to do. We're going to break our screen up into 16 bands. Each band represents one of the color palette registers. We're not having that we're not going to use this test one here. We're going to have one that has a bunch of colors. We're only showing in this slide here. I've only shown 8 of them. I blew it up so we can see it. And we've got this. Our sprite is this window here. Okay, we've got a blue, a green, and a red, and in the lower left-hand corner of this one here, we got black. Our background color. We're saying our background color is black or 0, 0. And you can see in this example here, you can see through that window and see through the window what's in the background. So look, show you what we're going. Let's look at what we're going to do. Give me a second here to get to the correct screen. Okay, and I've got it already loaded in, so I will execute that. And you can see there's our 16 bands. Believe it or not, the top band is black. You can't see it on the screen, but you got it. And that's our 16 colors we have in our palette registers. Okay, get my cursor out of the way. I'm going to hit the space bar. Take off, and there's our window. It's moving, and it's kind of hard to see, but you can see through it as it goes through there. It's kind of hard to see in this example here. Okay, that's what we're doing. That's what our Sprite does today. Now let's wait for me to do something. I can hit the space bar, and it will continue going on from where it was and do that same motion of flipping around. And now I can hit Q. I'm going to quit that stuff. We'll go into the second demonstration where all four windows are background colors. So you can see through the windows. I'll hit it again. You can see through all four windows as it goes through there. That's our lesson for today. Quit, get out of that. And if I can get back over here to where it was. Okay. Here's the sprites we're using. Okay, we've got 6 sprites. And in the first one where the window is rotating, flipping around, we have Sprite 1, which is our blue or green or red, and our black window. And here it's a little bit less, okay, and here it's a lot less, and here it's flipped, the color flipped the other way, and finally flipped completely reversed to what 1 and 5 are completely reversed. You have to forgive me on the sizes, I scaled them wrong anyway. And 6 is the one with the 4 windows all black so we can see through. So that was what we're doing there. Let's look at some code. Kind of same stuff we've been doing in the past. Okay, we got our common coming in. Okay, there's a new version of common that I've been giving you. This is version 7. I'll explain that later because I've cleaned some of this stuff up to be easier to use. And we got some normal stuff in here: screen beginning, the length, the end, the width, the height. And we're going to be using the direct page for speed. Okay, and here's all the things we have. Remember, I told you we need to split that pixels, them 2 pixels apart. So we got the old, most significant bit, the least significant bits, then the new ones coming in, and the background ones. Okay, we got all these in the direct page for speed. This program's going to start right here. There's a switch in there, and that's because we can either turn the 8 stripes on the screen. We can either clear them off and just have a black screen. And I've used it for testing. You can play with that. We got the 2 loops in there, some counters in there. How many times we're going to loop them? We got some slow down, so we don't slow them down. They just fly off the screen and where we keep our stack. So we can do some initial stuff with our loop counters, etc., save our stack. Same stuff we've been doing in other examples. Here's put us in the graphics mode. Task 1 to use them registers. We'll clear the screen, save the palette, and load our new one in. And going on about our business. Okay, now here's where we're going to put our 16 bands on the screen. Okay, the beginning of the screen. Here's our first palette 0. Oops. Palette 0, both pixels are 0, 0, 0. We'll cut our blocks up into 600 hex bytes right here. And we'll go through and put on all these zeros in all of them bytes. Okay, loop through here. When we get done, deconnect, get down to them 600 bytes. We'll add 1, 1 to our palette registers, and then we'll keep doing that. Then we'll do the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, all the way through the 15s, and we'll have our 16 bands on the screen. Then we wait for that key, hit the keyboard, take us off. Okay, then we're going to clear the screen, yes or no, and the default's to no, we're not going to clear it. So now we're going to get into showing the sprites. Here we're going to start our sprite on where we're going to place on the screen. We're going to go and we're going to say column 48, which really isn't, if you're counting pixels, okay, because it's 2 pixels per byte, so really it's at 96. We're going to start in that column. We'll save that. We'll load up the row, and it's around the center of the screen. Center of the screen really is 92 or 96, but we're just taking 92. We'll multiply it by the screen width. Add back in the columns, add back our screen beginning, which is hex 2000, and we'll store that in our sprite address, okay, which that all calculates out to 4 easy 3 dog. We could just as easily put it in there and save it, but that's, if you want to calculate an address on the screen, that's kind of the quick and dirty formula right there. So now we've got our sprite address. I'm actually going to put it on screen now. So here's our loop. Load up the Sprite address, which we just calculated. And we're going to, first thing we're going to do is we're going to change that address. We're going to go down one row and over 4 columns. Okay, so that's down one row is 128 bytes. Okay, so that would be hex 80 plus 2. Well, 2, that's 2 pixels per byte, so it really goes over 4 columns over 4 pixels. So we'll store that new address. Now we'll load up Sprite number 1, okay, which we just looked at. We had 5 different sprites we're going to do in this loop. We're going to go Sprite 1, hit load it up, and go to a routine called show the sprite. And at the end of it, it does a delay, comes back, and we'll restore the sprite. Restore the screen, really, is what they should say. We'll restore the screen. We'll load up that same Sprite address. We're going to bump it by 2. I'll tell you why in the near future. We'll load up the Sprite display. We'll do Sprite number 2. We'll select the screen, do number 3, number 4. And I'm going to back up here for a second. And what we're going to do is we're going to display Sprite 1. Then we're going to do 2. Then we're going to do 3. Then we're going to do 4. Then we're going to do 5. After each one of these, we do a delay. Then we're going to do 5. Then we're going to come back and do 4. We'll do 3, we'll do 2, and before we show 1, we're going to, in between here, we're going to say, is this the end of the loop? Okay, we're not, we loop forever, so we say, are we done looping, whatever, what I had there, 20, 15 times, whatever it was. If it says exit, if not, display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, check 1. And just keep that loop going. So that's what all this is. It's displaying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back down till we get down here. Here was 2. Check our loop counter. If not, go back up and start that loop again until we get done with that. We're done with that loop. We're done with that loop. We'll come down to the second loop. Here's where we're going to. We have never talked about this. Here we're going to sync this the vertical scan sync. Okay, and you can take this out and try it. If you don't have that in there, you get a little flicker on the screen. It's not bad, but you take it out and give it a try, and you see how it flickers. That here gets us in time with the lines, the horizontal lines thing, or the vertical. And again, we're doing the same thing here. We're using Sprite 6, and we're just putting it on the screen. We're delaying it in 2 places here because it's really fast. That's all we're doing, 1 sprite, and then we restore it. Just keep going through there until we're done. Wait for our key and end of job. That's what we're doing. All this other common code we've done before. Clearing screen, checking for the key, set. Okay. Okay, here's our actual sprites that we're putting on the screen. Here's that sprite number 1. Okay, it's 8 bytes wide and 15 deep. Okay, and you can see we're using palette F, which happens to be white. It shows that white outline of that window. That's what the F's are. And I don't remember which ones are which. Okay, we got the red and the green and the blue. Here's the zeros, the background ones. These are the transparency ones right there. That's that transparency window that we can see through Sprite 1. Okay, here's Sprite 2. I need to talk about this a little bit. Okay, I'm going to run back up to the code where I said I'd talk about it later here. We did Sprite 2. We bumped the address by 2 over the Sprite address. Okay, and the reason is, this example I wrote, this good side by side. Here's Sprite 1. It's the address when you put on a screen, it starts right there at that top FF. And Sprite 2 did look like this one over here. So the Sprite address started right here, put on the screen to overlap that other one. Well, if you look at the Sprite here, okay, this is the way it originally was. We got all these background transparency bytes here. And I left out the center and over here, all of them, we're doing nothing other than this transparency. We're doing all of them compares and moving around. And we already know it's not going to do anything other than for these extra 60 bytes, we're going to do all that calculation. So we get rid of these 2 rows of transparencies, these 2 rows of pencil, okay, and make it, instead of being 8 wide, do 4 wide, but we're losing 2 bytes on the front. So we want to start here, which is where this F is. So we added 2 bytes up in the code to bump on the screen where we're going to start with here. So that's to show you what. And likewise down here on this Sprite 3, we got rid of a whole bunch. We had to bump over 3. We got rid of seven rows or 105 bytes of do nothings other than waste calculations. So that's what the 4 is the same way, and that 5 is the same. Here's that 6 one window. If you look in there, you see all these zeros. That's the clear windows. Okay, Sprite 6 was all clear windows. Okay, here's how we show the Sprite on the window. I don't know if we've done this before or not, but if not, here it is. We enter with the Sprite, what Sprite we want is in register Y, and where the Sprite, address on the screen is in X. So we're going to store X so we can restore it in a place called erase it, and we're going to load up U with the where to save that data, and we're going to get the size when it comes in, and get the width and the height, and these counters. And the first thing we're going to do is get the new one coming in. And remember, we had to split it. Well, we're going to check and see if it's transparency bits or not. Skip around some code. What we want to do is split that new byte coming in, which is the 2 pixels. Remember, we talked about that. Here's where we split it. We get the new byte to come in. We get rid of the second half of it and store that in what's called the new most significant bits. Pull it back up, get rid of the second half, and store it into new least significant bits. So we get the new one split in half. We get the old one off the screen. We store it, so we can restore it. We split it in half, and we got the old most significant and the old least significant. So now we got to split it into 4 pieces. We can compare them. So here's that note again. If they're different, and the new is equal to background, use the old, else use the new. So here's what we do that compares. Okay, if there's no change, it doesn't make any difference which ones you use. So we're just going to keep the least significance. And then we're going to try different. We're going to compare it to the background color. If it's not equal, okay, use the new. If it is, use the old. Okay, that's what we talked about before. And it's the same way for the second half of that. Okay, you're going to look at the code. Once we're done, we're going to, back up here, we'll save the new one in a place called new both. We'll calculate the most significant bit. We'll OR them 2 together and store that, put it on the screen. This here determines what we're doing. We'll put it on the screen. And we go through that for I equals loop and goes through all the bytes within each Sprite. To restore it, okay, we load up the erase address where it was on the screen, get a pointer to where the data's at, and then we do that for I equal that double loop and put everything back on the screen. Okay, look at the code. If you step through the code and look through it, it's pretty easy once you look at it. Okay, here's something that's new at the beginning. I told you I had a new common. Okay, I took all the stuff that referred to colors and stuff out of common, and I split it into 2 separate includes. One of them's called color, and one of them's called color all. Don't worry, the names I probably should have named them different, but color all is for use with graphic screens. The one that's just plain color is used with text screens, and they will print out unless you put just no color in there. And the other thing you got to be concerned about is there's also a thing called no code. If you don't put that in there, it's going to drop this out into your code. You can see here it drops this out, all the colors. Here's the background, foreground, background colors, but all 16 palettes we're going to use. And all this down here relates to this palette here. So it's already done for you. Here's everything you need to know about them, the numbers of sequence. Here's the palette numbers. If you put in underscore light green, you know you're going to be in palette 5. Or if you just want the color of light green, it's a 12, so it's all there relates to this, and we'll drop this code out. If you put no code in there, all this will come out, but it will not put the code in there for you in your program. And I would suggest always putting this at the end of the program, because if you drop this in the middle somewhere like so, you'll have code in. You'll have this palettes in the middle of your code. Again, I'm going to go quick over here to. Here's the actual all color, and now go to the other one. This is used for your text screens, okay, that we've done in the past. Same way. Here's all the normal ones we always use: the red, white, blue, green, where they're the same. And again, if you got to put no code in there to drop it out. Otherwise, it's going to drop this in the middle here. And all of this below down here goes along with this here, which is remember all our attributes, all that here refers to this palette layout here. So, okay, you got that's new to use in the future. I think that's kind of, let me look at my color versus. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you. In our code, you will notice down here where we do our where we put our sprite on. Oops, I got lost where it was. Before we do our sprite stuff, you look at all this code over here. Okay, they're all 2-byte instructions. Okay, that's by using the direct page. Everything's 2 bytes, so it's all fast. That's why you put all these things in the direct page to get away from them long. There's our direct page stuff. We put all this stuff in direct page, because otherwise you get these long cycle counts and speeds. It speeds it up, so use the direct page where you can. I think that we get back over here. We did that. Okay, that ends this one here. It was longer than I thought it was going to be, but I thought it was important if you wanted to work with sprites. Again, it only covers one sprite. Okay, on the screen, there's no collision detection, there's no off-of-page detection, there's nothing. That was just displaying a sprite. So if you got more than one sprite moving around the screen, you got to put some code in there for that. But we'll look at that maybe sometime later. Anyway, I think that's all for this one here. So thanks a lot. We're done.